In this video today, I'm going to share with you what I would tell myself 10 years ago to be able to get to my goals sooner, quicker, faster. I was recently asked by a six-figure entrepreneur how to go about quantum shifting, how to go about jumping timelines, how to go about shifting timelines. And as I transition from one area of my life into another, this is exactly the process I'm going to be using, exactly the awareness that I'm going to be using, and I'm going to share with you how you can do it too so that you can get to your goals sooner, quicker, faster. And let me tell you, it is not about working harder and it is not about it taking a lot of time. Your next level is not about strategy or working harder. It is about an identity shift. Let me explain about why it isn't about working harder. On this planet, there are so many people that work in the most extreme conditions, but they aren't the most highly paid. Why? Because it isn't about working harder. It's actually all about our levels of consciousness. And it's also not about it taking a lot of time. Quantum mechanics tells us that everything in the universe that ever will be, ever could be, ever has been, already exists here, right now, in one form or another. It is about aligning your awareness to the thing to draw it to you, because we're electromagnetic beings. And in order to align to the frequency, you need to pay attention. Your attention is the most valuable tool you have. What you pay attention to, where your attention goes, is where your God energy flows. And so becoming aware of where your attention is going to get you to your goal way quicker than you could ever imagine. We want to first begin by understanding that where we are right now, we didn't get here randomly. We aligned with this frequency. I'm going to show you exactly how you did that. Let's go. So the universe is made up of energy, and energy vibrates at varying frequencies. We have an infinite number of frequencies going up and we have an infinite number of frequencies going down. You then have the positive polarity and the negative polarity. Essentially, it is telling you that everything is one, that we come from the same one consciousness, that the same one consciousness exists everywhere in all places. But what we experience of life is determined by where we place our attention. So let's talk about your current results right now. Where you are today, in order for you to be here, you will have had to think, feel and act in a certain way for you to have the results that you do right now. There was probably a time where you didn't have the results you have right now, but you wanted the results you have right now. So what happened? So let's go to a past version of you. A past version of you thought, felt and acted in a certain way and had the results that they had. That was in your past. You then decided that you wanted to shift to a new timeline. So you started to think differently, act differently. You started to make decisions from a different frequency, from a whole different version of yourself. So you started to think differently, you started to feel differently, you started to act differently. That led to the results that you have right now. By the same token, where you want to go is also a frequency, and you are going to now think, feel and act from that place. Your brain, your central nervous system, deems what you're about to do as a threat. Hey, this is unfamiliar. Remember, your brain will choose a familiar hell over anything that might be more comfortable in the future, because the discomfort right now feels dangerous. So it doesn't care that you want the thing. It cares about you being safe. As you begin to make decisions from this place and you start to ask yourself, would this version of me make the decisions that I'm about to make? Would this version of me be worrying about things that I'm worried about today? The answer is probably not. As you begin to do that, the resistance picks up and your ego begins to use worry and doubt as a way of keeping you small, keeping you stuck, keeping you safe, because that way you're not in any danger. And it's up to you to be able to tell your brain and your central nervous system that you are not in any danger, and you do that through repetition. Let's understand where this resistance is actually coming from and what you can do to shift your reality. So first you have your thinking mind, your conscious mind. That is operational 5% of the day. And then you have your subconscious mind. That is your feeling center, your emotional center. And that is operational 95% of the day. So when you are choosing to shift your identity, yes, you're using your will to move forward, but your subconscious mind, which is where the programming lies, says, no, thank you, you come back. Because your subconscious mind is where your habits, beliefs, your self-talk, your identity reside. This is where your emotions reside. And it's important to know that your emotions exist there, because your emotions are dictating whether you are moving forward or falling back into survival. Because when you're in survival, that's when you experience lack. That's when you experience the contraction in your solar plexus. That's when it doesn't feel possible. It can't be possible for you. And that's where you feel like you're a victim of life. It always happens to me. It never works out for me. And it isn't that. It is just you've gone into survival and everything is shut down. And so we want to stop, reset, refocus, and re-choose. Choose again. Get present. This is why moments of presence, the practice that I share with my clients, it is so important. In fact, MOP is only one of 21 steps of my energetic shift course that you can get for free at the moment in my energetic shifters community, to help you tap in and tune into a higher frequency. Because you, my friend, you are here to live the life that is on your heart. You're here to do that. We are all sharing with each other how we can be more expansive, how we can grow, and how we can become conscious leaders of our lives and our businesses. We have live coaching calls. We have monthly meditations. You've got to come and join us. It is so good. I'll pop the link in the description. Back to what I was saying. Getting present is important because you can't think greater than you feel. Your prefrontal cortex shuts down when you're in survival, so you can't think. So what we need to do is learn to regulate. Then when you shift out of survival and you move into your thrival emotions, joy, love, peace, acceptance, neutrality, all of those emotions, that is how you shift out of those survival emotions into your thriving capabilities. It's in those upper levels of consciousness that you experience that thriving energy, the abundance, the expansion, the feeling of possibility, because there you're open, you're not constricted and you're not contracted. You are expansive, you are open, you are free, you are creative. Your prefrontal cortex is on, your fear center is shut down. You are living life the way it's meant to be lived. This is where you become the victor of your life. You no longer are the victim. Life isn't happening to you. You are letting life flow through you, but you're consciously directing it with your attention. So in order to shift your reality, you have to update your frequency. To update your frequency, you need to update your beliefs, you need to update your emotions, you need to step in to where you are operating from more and more, so you can shift out of that default mode network that your brain automatically goes into, so that you can start to use it to attract the reality you want. So here's how I'm going to create the reality that other people call delusional, but I know, because I'm experiencing it right now, it's so totally possible. Why? Because all things are possible with God. All things are possible with God. That's it. Simple. So first and foremost, you want to update your thinking. How often are you thinking from your future self? How often is your mind there? Are you on autopilot 95% of your day? Or are you getting present and making time to visualize your future, mentally rehearse your future? That is where the secret is. Mentally rehearse your future. I can't tell you how many things have transpired in my life from just making time to visualize. So visualize what it is that you want in your life. Ask yourself, how often do you think, feel, and act from your future self as if it's already happened? Because remember, your future already exists right here, right now, in one form or another. When you place your attention on the thing is drawn towards you. So what is it that you actually want in your life? And if it is that goal, how often are you practicing being there? Next, you want to update your beliefs, and you want to do this with emotion. You want to shift your belief with emotion, because remember, your subconscious mind is where your beliefs reside. Your subconscious mind is emotional. And remember that your beliefs are simply a thought that have been repeated over time with emotional experience, for you to eventually begin believing them as your truth. They are not, they are just a pattern within you that you get to shift out of with your awareness and with your constantly shifting out of the old and into the new. So one of the ways that I do this is I notice what I'm thinking. I have alarms set in my phone so that I can check in with where my thoughts are. Am I on autopilot, or am I thinking of where it is that I want to go? And that is not in a constant chasing. It's not from a place of needing it. It's from a place of constantly wanting to evolve my experience of life and my connection to source. So I notice my thoughts, and I notice any contraction, any tight feeling, anything that might be coming up. I always go by how I am feeling. If I am feeling off anywhere, I get to stop and I get to check in with, wait, what are the thoughts that are going on in my head? What do I have to believe for me to believe this to be my reality? And then I consciously choose to shift. Remind myself that life is full of choices, and they're choices that I can make. And I can make them if I get present and I choose to focus my attention. You guys, I know it sounds like a massive process. It isn't. It is a practice. The more you do it, the less you have to think about it. You just know, oh God, I'm involved in some lower level thinking right now. I can choose to shift out of this. But you have to practice it for it to be able to happen for you. And then you have to act from your goal. Are you taking daily actions that align with that version of you? As you do that, what you're doing is tapping in and tuning into that frequency, because we experience what we're tuned into. And so if you keep tuning into that energy, into that frequency, it rubs off on you, it attracts you, it draws you, and you begin to become that version without hustle, without chasing. It's just who you are because you're wiring it in. So this is an inside out job. It's not an outside in job. And the more you do this, the quicker and easier it becomes. Having talked about everything we've talked about, here is how I would take this information and I would make it quantum. So when it comes to co-creation, how quickly can you regulate your central nervous system? Your life is a representation of what is going on inside your body. So when you become aware of your central nervous system and you stop operating out of survival and you recognize it sooner, quicker, faster, you'll get to your goal sooner, quicker, faster. Why? Because your central nervous system is on board. Your brain is on board, and they are designed to keep you safe. They aren't designed for you to succeed. However, they will support you in succeeding if you use them wisely. So, number one, how quickly can you regulate? Number two goes hand in hand with that. How quickly can you move from survival to thrival? How quickly can you move out of that contraction and that lack mentality and that survival mentality and choose to operate from your truth? Because that's exactly what it is. You are an extension of source. You are not separate from source, and it's time for you to recognize that, realize that, and you're only going to do that by choosing to evolve what's happening within you. Number three, how big can you imagine? How big can you dream? How big can you believe that life can get for you? Believe that big and stretch it some more if you can. As far as you can stretch your capacity, and this is why regulation is so important, because it allows you to dream bigger, to achieve bigger, to imagine bigger, because you're being supported from the inside out. Number four, repetition. How often will you practice this? How often will you visit this space? How often do you visit this space? In order for you to be who you are today, you had to repeat this way of being, and you practice this way of being. So in order for you to achieve your next level, your goal, whatever it might be, health, wealth, relationships, it doesn't matter. You then need to practice this way of being so that you can draw it into you, wire it into you, and draw it into you. Number five, give up on the how. Stop trying to figure out the how. You will never know the how. You cannot know the how because God knows the how. You can never figure out the how because there's too many moving parts. The only thing that you can focus on is you and the direction that you want to go. Your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, how you're showing up, the habits, the self-talk, all of that. That's all you. You can tell God what, but you can't tell God how, because God has so many things moving for you to receive the thing that you want. And there are other people involved. And so everything has its time and its place. Your focus has to be in believing that this is going to happen and just keep moving forward from that space. Number six, detachment. Give up your need for the thing. The more you need something, the more excess potential energy is going out, and the more you're kind of driving this thing further away from you. You want to be a magnet. You want to let this thing come to you, and it will come to you through your alignment of how you're thinking, feeling, and acting and showing up in your life, not through you trying to hold on for dear life. You're going to have to let go of control, and this is where surrender comes in. You've got to practice some of that surrender, and no, surrender doesn't mean giving up. Surrender means trusting the will of God, who handles the entire universe. We're in good hands. Number 7, gratitude. Gratitude for your life now, for everything that you have now, and for everything that you've once prayed for, you have. So say thank you, thank you, thank you. And then to supercharge that, thank you for your goal as if it's already here and now. Because it is, it's just in a different form. Say thank you for it and be ready to receive it. Number 8, don't be so logical. Logic makes up 5% of who you are. The rest of it is all intuition. Let your intuition guide you. Let God lead you. Look out for signs and synchronicities that align with you as you keep operating from that higher frequency. Look out for signs. Look out for God showing up, because God is always showing up. You're just turned off to it right now. Your RAS isn't turned on to it. And as you begin to work with this stuff, your RAS will be turned on and you'll be able to see how God has been trying to get messages through to you. And number 9, faith. Trusting in God, trusting that it is already done, trusting that it is on its way, and that you just need to do your part. You just need to show up for you. Everything else is handled. The universe has it handled. You got to learn to let God lead and ask God to lead you. And then from there, watch the miracles occur. It is really that simple. And it feels too simple, which is why most people won't do it. So yeah, and that, my friends, is how I am going to quantum leap to the next level of my life, and I cannot wait, and I hope you'll join me. And I also hope you'll join me in my Energetic Shifters community. It is a very powerful place to be. So come and join us. I will see you there, and I will see you again for our next video. Stay blessed, stay well.